Good evening, everybody. What is going on? Great to be here with you guys on this lovely Sunday. And I hope you're all doing well. Let me see if I can get Cliff on here as well. What's good, my brothers and sisters? I hope you're doing well on this lovely Sunday, wherever you are. Where are you, Cliff? Let's get something going, my friend. And we're going to talk crypto in general today. Where is the big yatty? See who's in the building. Let me just invite my brother to the studio. Hello, guys, girls, ladies and gents. Hope you're doing well. Big up yourself, Tony, in the building. Shout out to the DXB community. What's happening, bro? Long time. You know, it's been KRC20 day. Having said that, before I go into this, there's something my brother Muzz created along with my other brother there. And this is absolutely, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Welcome to the Player Haters Ball. And by the way, shout out to England as well. I went missing today because England had a game. And of course, England successfully beat their opponents just. And yeah, shout out to everyone who's supporting the Three Lions right now. But Tony, good to see you, bro. Great to see you. And obviously my boy Jude there doing very well. So we're mixing a bit of football, a bit of Casper, a bit of Tectum, bit of everything really. August more bullish than July. Yeah, historically, absolutely, bro. Game of cryptos. What is going on, bro? Shout out to you, bro. And I promise you, our get together is gonna happen this week, man. If you're available, let's do a live stream together, bro. I'm so sorry, it's been absolutely crazy. But yeah, Canada is lovely. Shout out to you, yo, Buzz. I'm always looking at this. Where is it? Yeah, listen, I've got a very important guest straight away. Just to make an announcement, he's right here. I'm gonna bring my brother in straight away to discuss a bit of crypto, stuff that this guy's been doing. It's been unbelievable. Let me just add my bro to the chat here. Big up yourself. Like,
how you doing, buddy?
Man like Cliff in the building, bro. How are you, brother? Good to have you back finally after globe trotting. How are you?
Yeah. Over most of the jet lag now. The jet lag was rough. But
did you I mean, to be honest, coming east always is a bit of a it's a nightmare, man. It's a nightmare. Every time I go to the States and I come back here, it's like 2-3 days of no sleep at all. Yeah, what else has been going on, bro? Good to have you, man. We've got some exciting stuff. I really didn't want to waste any time with this, but we are super excited of the stuff you pulled in for us this week.
You're most welcome, man.
Incredible, bro. Incredible. So yeah, just let us know how you're doing, what we're gonna do with Octa, because I'm still, to be honest, I'm very happy that you bought this one for us. And guys, you know, smash the like for the big man, because yeah, this week we're gonna have Octa Space, and we're gonna do something together with Cliff as well, with Octa. I think people want to hear that dynamic. You know, it'd be lovely to have you on Tara Code at the same time.
Our partnership's only just begun. Like, we released some bits for our system now on Octa. So if you've got an Octa virtual container, you can actually deploy Dinex services directly on Octa's infrastructure, which is awesome. Wow. Right? That's just one step, though. We're now going to go even further with pre and post processing capabilities as well, which is what I'm working on right now. So you'd be able to, you know, do your computation on Dinex, send it over to Octa. And if it's something to do with, say, video rendering or something like that, then you'll be able to literally offload that straight from our system to Octa and then back, all completely seamless. So we can have we'll get into that a little bit more about what we want to do when we have the big old AMA, because I'm sure people will be really interested in that connection.
Well, yeah, because I was just before the live, I was actually doing some because I've never really shared with people what I predict certain projects doing, especially during the accumulation phase. But look, at 54 cents for Dinex, I was just adjusting some of these permutations as you do. So if you have, for example, let's just even lower this a little bit, because sometimes people don't actually get to see. I mean, you got projects that are fully diluted, like Dinex and Octa, and we're in this business to make money.
Sure.
We are 100% in the business to make money. And if you look at this at the current level, and I just wanted to take I know from your position, doing price predictions is not,
well, I mean, hey, I'm a crypto guy at heart, right? Just because I work for Dinex doesn't mean I'm not a crypto guy at heart. I've been in this so long now that, I enjoy all aspects of crypto, right? And trading is part of crypto.
Absolutely. So, but I really want to show you something that's quite staggering. And this is not even beyond. So I have a range here of, I was just messing about 40 to about 70x return and what it does to the, to the price. So if we have kind of what I consider to be bearish for Dinex, you're looking at a $40, you're looking at a $20 Dinex, which is,
I mean, that would be lovely.
Which is awesome. And that's just 40x, because I reckon, I wanted to actually, for the community, I had this discussion with few people about VC coins versus fully diluted, and on top of that, proof of work, where there's mining effort, money being spent. But I really don't see the base scenario based on this current pullback of the market as being 40x return from the current price. And I've got this crazy range here. So if you threw in, I would say, about $4,000 or $5,000 into Dinex, I mean, you're standing to gain on a bearish case over 200 grand. And these prices don't always come to. No, not at all. Considering where we are in the cycle, and I can see here, if I bought 10,000 Dinex or DCA'd into it, which is what most smart people are doing, bro. It's ridiculous. $20 is all you need in order to make significant amounts of money. What catalyst would take us there?
I mean, there's a couple of bits that we're working on right now. Obviously, we announced the new bridge to Ethereum. Maybe I should leak a little bit, just a tad, right? You want a little bit, don't you? you know. Okay, so maybe Ethereum might not be the only bridge going active at the same time.
All right.
We're looking right now and we're testing it, but it looks like it'll probably be base.
Oh, guys, you heard that first here. Possibly base. Now, I'm going to stop you there because base, as it stands right now, I'm incredibly bullish on the whole thing. Now, whether they're going to have a token or not, nobody knows.
Correct.
But just everything looks like it's going the Arbitrum way. If you really look at the momentum behind when they had the largest airdrop ever, I think that was Arbitrum. So you're going to be potentially, I mean, again, we've got another session anyway, so I'm not gonna hold you too long on that. But that's bullish. That's bullish,
and that's just the start, right? We want to build our bridge out so that we've got multiple options for people to either get into it, and then they would effectively just wrap or unwrap their effective token. And then it's the same as what it will always be. It'll be one in, one out. So you send in one Dinex, you get a one wrapped Dinex on the outside. depending and whichever network you select when you're obviously going through it. So, and then on the inbound, you would just select which network you're sending it in from, and then it would unwrap it to the native chain again. So we're making sure that, you know, it is always a one-to-one lock, because that could be devastating if we don't do that correctly, right? Like, imagine somebody sending in 1 and getting 5 out. That would be disastrous.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone would love to send 1 wrapped Dinex in and get 5 unwrapped Dinex out, right? You know, everyone would be happy with that. But you know, like, I can't let that happen. Like, we've got to make sure. So not only are we doing internal audits on our smart contract and our bridge, we've actually contracted a third-party company as well to give us a full external audit of the bridge. So, wow. yeah.
Wow. That, listen, the Dinex, I'm sure the Dinex questions will come. I think we had Tony,
like I said to everyone, right? We are working every day of the week to put ourselves in the best possible position. Will we get the price appreciation that everyone expects? Honestly, we don't know. We are very different compared to standard blockchain technology, right? So it's a little harder for some people to get their head around of what we're trying to do. And that comes down to education. And that's why I was in Miami, right? To be there, to go meet people, to educate them about what we're doing. I had some amazing conversations in Miami. You know, a couple of exchanges that we talked to, some hardware vendors that would like our help with certain things, you know, like to potentially see if we can optimize their like power distribution in their hardware and stuff like that. So it's an interesting time right now.
I wanted to ask you something. So what does it look like when you get the jobs? Are you physically hosting something, or are you deploying computational power? How does that work?
So our network, obviously, we have a job distributor system that we run. That is basically the gateway, right? You send your job into that distributor. The distributor chops it up into micro pieces, sends it out across our network to compute. That's the only piece of hardware we actually run. Other than that, it's just all on the miners and obviously the pools that we run, because it's a mineable chain. So I've got something like 50 GPUs on at the moment. I haven't took them off in over a year, mainly because at my power rate where my units are, I'm still profitable mining it. So, and I also run a pool for Dinex as well, funnily enough. So, you know, I kind of able to run on my own pool and not have to pay any fees at that point.
Right.
So that's always a good sign. But
so when we get the partnerships as well, like, so the jobs, obviously this is very impressive numbers. Could you just explain to us about the average duration?
Yeah, I mean, actually the average duration's gone up over the last month, like almost double. And that comes down to, obviously, now we've got subscriptions open. You can run 24/7 without extra costs, right? You pay what you pay and you don't have to pay any more. But if you were paying per job, running 7,000 jobs would be quite pricey, right? So people have already switched to subscriptions. We've been quite surprised actually by the uptake so fast, right? Literally, as soon as we opened up, we had, you know, a good 10 people that switched from paying on as they go to a subscription model. So that's why the big jump. Subscriptions will be going live sometime in July. We're hoping for the 1st, so tomorrow that'll start. But that will be a subscription liquidity pool that will go and purchase up the Dinex on the open market. Right. So no hidden agenda there. It will all be completely transparent. If you just rolled past the bridge, by the way.
Oh, there's one.
The bridge. Yeah. There's the picture of the bridge.
And this is the so far open for ETH.
Yep.
Oh, brilliant.
We've been running it on ETH testnet and the base testnet. both have worked wonderfully, because obviously we run our own Dinex testnet as well. So we basically created a testnet bridge at that point. So it only works with testnet coins. So we were able to keep sending back and forwards a lot, right? Best way to do it. Then that way we're not touching the main chain at all. There's no risk involved.
Oh yeah,
so
look, their
as soon
base
as
is
it goes
actually
live,
on
like, oh yeah.
there. Bullish. So
we're not slowing down. If anything, we're speeding up, right?
Right.
You remember me talking to you about how, we don't stop working because we're over the whole globe, right? Dinex never actually is shut as a business. We're always developing. So, that's something that I'm really liking. And I just seen how many X's are expected from Dinex, and will your lab experts run on us? Is that rug or run? Oh, rug. Right. So we have some very, shall we say, wealthy owners. They don't need the money. Trust me when I say that. They do not need the money. They, like Sumi himself, he has one goal and one goal only: to put Dinex right up there with the very best out there. Right. That's why I joined. He sold me on the project, right? He was the one who come to me and said, look, this is my vision. And, we want you to be part of that vision. And that vision was big. It wasn't a small, like, stepping stone. It was like, the ultimate. He's not going to stop putting money in until effectively he's reached his goal. So,
I mean,
no, I always am happy for people to ask that, right? Because that's a very valid question in this industry. I don't see that as a bad or negative opinion, right? That's just a very valid question in this like day and age with crypto. We see how many rug pulls every week. I mean, gee whiz, man, come on, like.
Well, listen, the fact that it's ironic that, the question like that comes up, but you run a blockchain auditing firm.
This is the other thing as well, right? Dinex is not a blockchain trying to be a business. Right. Dinex, first and foremost, is a business using and running its own blockchain. We set up very differently than most projects do. Funnily enough, Octaspace went down the same route: set up the company, get the company up and running, build the blockchain underneath it, because then you've got the fundamentals.
Right. I mean, listen, with the question as well. It also actually shows. I've had other leaders in the industry here. I've had Mintlayer here, and I think sometimes what people really find refreshing is the ability to tackle the not so comfortable questions. YouTube is extremely censored. You actually, I didn't even see the question and you picked it out. So my man Donkey is he's a live wire.
I mean, honestly, like I'm happy for anyone to ask us those questions. I actually prefer people asking those hard questions. Why? Because the more I can explain that, the easier things are with our whole network as a whole, right? Because we're trying to be as transparent as possible. Now, with what we do as a business with enterprise level customers, we can't be as transparent as I would like. We can't just turn around and go, oh, here's all our client list, because there are contracts and NDAs and all of that involved, right? But we are working actively with a few customers who are going to be very publicly announcing they're using Dinex very soon.
Right.
And that will change me and you talked about this while I was in Miami, right? We know that those testimonials are the beginning of where people will start to realize we are legitimate.
Well, look, for anybody who didn't see the small, test on the bridge, you can see here, that's the base to Ethereum sending Dinex. So that's incredibly bullish. Incredibly bullish. Listen, I don't want to, guys, bring in the questions for the big man.
Yeah, feel free. I'm happy to answer.
I'm going to steal some of his time because there was a monumental event today with one of your associated projects. And let's just quickly get your take on it. Because today was the launch of those KRC20s, and I know Casper, obviously.
Oh, I met the guys from Casper at Miami.
Very close to them. Absolutely.
They are great. They are great. I met some of the funniest people from Casper. Met some really cool people from Casper too. So, yeah, like I hold Casper. I actually hold Casper. I've held Casper for a while. Like, when did you get in? How many zeros at the beginning?
2.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah,
I mean, look, I got in even earlier than that. I got in while it was still mineable with a CPU. Oh yeah, I saw the potential, right? I saw what they were trying to build out, and even though it's quite a complicated thing to understand what they're trying to do, right? It took me a good while to read through, like, and understand it, but effectively, if you look through the different versions of what Bitcoin has become over the years, where it's forked into new projects and stuff like that, like Casper is like effectively the ultimate version of Bitcoin would be, if they'd have kept pushing and pushing and had that technology available to them, you know, early, shall we say, right?
well, there's a funny comment here, because when you asked me when I got in, and I remember doing the research, towards the summer of 22.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was mostly live on, it was just on the internet, just nowhere. But I remember actually looking at the other Casper, which is sadly, not spoken about at all. And he puts it right there and says the other Casper is the Casper with the C. So with the launch, do you think so today, this is what happened today. They
had some bottleneck issues. I don't think they were quite anticipating the uptake that's actually happened, right? They kind of misjudged just how many people would be going ahead and launching tokens and stuff on their network in that short spell of time, right? And that's just one of those things, right? That's where they've had to launch as a beta on their main chain, because this is where they find out where those bottlenecks are, right? Testnet will only tell you so much. Mainnet is where you will really find where the problems are, right? So of course, for me, I have no doubt that Casper will get on top of that. They're probably already working on a patch right now. If it's the guys that I spoke to, they're already working on it. I 100% would say that. But the bottleneck are, like, given how fast their block times are, right, the bottleneck is not going to take more than maybe a day to sort out, realistically, in my view.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the entire community unanimously is obviously holding to a different degree a level of Casper. Now, I wanted to ask you another question based on the people that follow you. There's another project that follows you on X that you're very close to. And this is another project that we are holding as a beta play, because I genuinely believe the gains on Casper are multi-cycle. So
I suspect we're gonna see it very similar to how Bitcoin comes in cycles. Casper will probably go through similar cycles, especially given that it's so much built on the technology that Bitcoin started. Right.
Wow.
So I would say that. Is that a left for you, Mossy?
Well, this is one that's been waiting for you, because I know the team follow you very closely. And I'm sure you've probably done some auditing there.
Yeah, we audited their wallet for them.
Absolutely. Awesome. So I really wanted to get your take on this, because a lot of us believe that obviously we go into Casper. Of course, Dinex, there's a genuine appreciation for, cryptos with true fundamentals that change this space, whether it's neuromorphic computing or, you know, block time solving the trilemma. Now, I seem to believe that this particular project here is, of course, way smaller than Casper. I'd probably say in terms of market cap, not really that much bigger than Dinex right now.
Alephium was one of my sort of shot in the dark choice,
right?
When I was looking through all. So periodically, right, I'll take one of my mining rigs off of Dinex and I'll go and mine a whole bunch of new coins, right? Just to be on the safe side. I don't want to miss out on something, right? But Alephium was one that I actually mined for probably a little longer than I should have, because, you know, I wanted to make sure I had a good bag of it. I like the concept of their proof of less work as well. It's very interesting, where obviously they will scale back certain things to even out the ecosystem. So it's interesting. And like I say, we reached out to them for an audit and they were very happy for us to do it. They were like, oh, well, you know, the first conversation always comes back as how much you're going to charge us. But realistically, you should see the response when I turn around and go, nothing, it's free. Because actually it's good for them, right? It's good for us because we're working with some of the biggest players in the industry. Right. It's good for them because they get effectively a free audit, right? They don't have to cost that out. It's good for them, right? Because it also gives them some validation with their community that their software is good. So, I mean, it's a win-win for everyone.
And so from a mining perspective, again, you know, you're coming back from of course, Miami and that whole conference. I mean, did you have any particular
I didn't bump into anyone from Alephium at Mining Disrupt, which is a shame because I wish that there would have been somebody there. I'd have loved to have had a chat
with these guys.
But I'm sure there'll be other events where we're both at. Dinex will be at BTC Nashville next month. I personally won't be there. Dan, our other guy that was at Miami with me, will be there with one of our moderators. So they're both going to BTC Nashville. But like I said to you, right, I'm going to America in August. Got Dubai to go back to for Blockchain Life. So obviously we're gonna have to hook up and do a proper sit down live with us in the same place. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll get a studio. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I think that'd be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I got to meet some amazing people there.
So a question for you, in terms of the partnerships that, of course, you've announced with Octa. Anything else we need to kind of look forward to now, or do you think the AMA?
Well, there's a couple of partnerships that we're talking about internally. We've reached out. We've had a couple reach out to us as well that we're talking about and discussing internally. But we aren't just going to announce partnership names for the sake of announcing partnership names, right? We could go and partner with a whole bunch of different blockchains. Does that actually benefit us if we don't do anything? You know, all then you're doing is basically saying a link up between names to give yourself a good boost either side, right? It's not just about that. We want actual partnerships that produce valid options, right? So like you saw already with the Octa space, that's starting. We're at the beginning, but we're going to keep pushing for, you know, now, you know, we've got a bridge. You know, the Octa space is effectively an EVM compatible layer 1, right?
Right.
Well, you know what that would lead to, right? Would be 100%. Logically a Dinex to Octa space bridge, where you could take your native Dinex, for example, send it in and have Octa space on the other side. Now, obviously, we're not quite a one-to-one at that point. It's a little bit different. It's because it's going to have to go on market rate. But it does lead itself to have that potential.
Wow.
I mean,
so question for you. So, question for you:
Sure.
again, for going back to the partnership in terms of, could you just tell us what is it exactly do you provide? I mean, what do you provide Octaspace
So
from?
we have like a think tank group almost, right? That's built from all the Dinex devs and all the Octaspace devs. So we talk about crazy concepts, potentially what we could run down the road. Being able to organize things like having AMAs with yourself as well, like I organized with you today for Tariq from Octaspace.
That's brilliant.
I think you're going to enjoy that one, to be quite honest.
Yeah, we're
He's
gonna
a
do it on
very
Tuesday,
knowledgeable
guys.
guy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah.
very knowledgeable guy.
It's
And I think, like I say, that he'll enjoy coming on here and having a nice chat about what Octaspace is doing. Like they're doing great things over there. And
well,
it's surprising,
interestingly,
right? Because they actually have quite a large team of devs. I was quite shocked at how many devs they've got. Right, because they haven't
wow,
announced all their devs because they don't want other blockchains poaching their dev team, right? Like what Okta's trying to do is already disruptive enough, and therefore they want to make sure that they're protecting their interests. And I get
right.
that, I really do. So, but yeah, look, their price is looking good at the minute, up 5% in the last day. That's good. That's
Well,
very good.
it's never slowing down. I mean, market cap probably more or less the same as
Yep.
Dinex, but the difference, you've got the two strong assets working together. So
Yeah.
I can see a situation where, obviously, as you guys grow and obviously price appreciates, like I was saying to
You
investors
might
today.
find that even, especially with our partnership, right, that we might track very similar price like increase and decreasing as the
Yeah.
more and more of that partnership grows. The more and more we're tied together doing things. I suspect that as Okta grows, so will we.
Well, look at that. Market cap's up.
It's pretty much literally identical, though. It's almost
It's
within
the
what,
same.
a million? Oh, no, a couple of million. Yeah,
Yeah, which
that's not
is
bad at all.
which goes back to how we started regarding the
Yeah.
opportunity to make money for investors.
Yep.
By picking these right projects, because this is a question that I was dying to ask you. And everybody on this side of I mean, of course, we know what proof of stake is right now, but
Yep.
this whole idea of VCs now, they've been selling. So one of our projects, Tectum,
Yep.
had one of the worst performances. Actually, two of
Yeah,
our
it's a shame
main
because
projects.
I spoke to another YouTuber, what was it, last year, and he was really big into Tectum. He was one of the earliest people that I've ever come across into Tectum, like probably like the first month of it
Right.
launching. And he was really like bullish on Tectum. And we've seen it. It went on a tear for ages, Tectum, right? But now we're seeing the sell pressure, and I guess that's from early adopters,
Yeah.
VCs cashing out, right? Even Dinex has seen that kind of sell pressure, where we've had people that got in super early, so like 2 cent, and so they're taking their profit because they're still effectively up by mega money at that point, right? Even at 50 cent, they're still up by massive money. So
Incredible. Yeah.
there you go. There's that big long tear that Tectum went on.
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Pretty much no price action here.
Yep.
It was $3 for best part of 2023.
Yep. I think that's when he got into it. That big lull there.
This bit here, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame because I think wallets have been dumping this like you don't believe. And
Seeing that with a lot of projects though, right? Because they're all trying to funnel it back into BTC because BTC was down, so therefore they could quickly put in it at nice and low, flip it again, and there'll be a couple of grand profit on every sale for them. So I mean, I get the logic, but it's horrible to see projects that are actually trying to do something get absolutely hammered. It's horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got the soft node.
Ooh, I like that question.
It's
Oh, I like that question. Which project would be a dream partnership? Oh, ooh, ooh. That's a very good question.
yeah,
That's a really good question. There's a
So I know
couple of
maybe you're
AI
talking.
projects. Like if we're talking just like AI projects or deep in projects, right? Because this has a couple of different layers to this, really, right? If we're just talking deep in, I would probably like to look at, you know, quite a few different ones, to be quite honest. Morpheus AI is one that I've been talking to quite recently. Nuco Cloud is another one. They just got funded 3 million euros by the German government to build theirs out. There's a couple, but dream partnership in Deepin, I think we've already got the one that we really wanted, which was Octaspace, to be quite honest. All of their devs and what they're trying to do aligns with what Dinex is doing so well, right? We all put in the effort, they all put in the effort, right? They work long hours, and we understand that because we all work long hours. So I think in the deep in space, we've probably already got our perfect partnership. Now, is there some others that I would like? Absolutely. I'd love to deploy our Docker containers on Claw. Flux is another one. However much, you know, the leadership team over at Flux has had a go at Dynex over the months. We are still very much open to deploying our containers, because at the end of the day, it opens up different avenues for different people.
Right.
You know?
And the other one was Nuco, right?
Yeah. Nuco Cloud.
Is it out?
I don't think they're launched yet. I think they're still testnet at the minute. So nuco.cloud is the website. They're still very much in the build out phase. NUCO, Nuco. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they actually called their network Skynet, which had me laughing quite extensively when I first saw it. But they're trying to build the first hyperscaler, right? So hyperscaling compared to, say, decentralized infrastructure, right? It's very similar. The only difference is hyperscaling is designed to work over multiple servers like a mesh. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Great.
Tony Martin's in the chat, I see.
Yeah, Big Tony is giving a shout out from lovely Canada. You got a super chat here as well. Do you think Landshare is 100?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I mean it's a RWA token. I think 100x is.
I spoke to a lot of RWA stuff in London blockchain, funnily enough. I spoke to a couple of guys that were doing RWA with water and tracking like water, like purifying systems and cleaning stuff. So really interesting. Not sure how well our RWA will do in the long run, like real world assets, like tokenizing water and water usage. I mean, it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Not sure if it'll take off myself, but doesn't mean I'm not going to have a few, should we say, more degen style plays for myself.
Right.
You know, I am a crypto guy at heart at the end of the day, and if there's a bit of profit in it for me, I'm all ears, you know.
Right.
But yeah, quite honestly, for me, I've stayed away from some of the RWA stuff. Just it's still a little new for me. I need to dig around and understand it a little bit more, I think, personally.
Right. I mean, this one is it's an older school RWA project, and
well, it does. Looking at that chart, it's been around for a while.
For a while, yeah. And I think there's a newer, in my opinion, anyway. There are a lot newer. I mean, I'm into the RWA space, and I think you're 100% right. I mean, tokenizing water and stuff like that, that's deep in stuff. Like, for example, there's a project
it's definitely an interesting concept, though. Like, because you could track water usage, you could track water treatment. You know, we were talking about, like, on our private chat the other day, like, there's a lot in the RWA space. It's just how far do you take it, right? You don't want to take it so far that it looks ridiculous, where you basically tokenize everything in your life, because that's probably not healthy that we're doing it that way, right? We don't want to tokenize everything. There's got to be some sensibility here, right? Like if we tokenize everything, everything's going to be ridiculous. But I like the idea of like house deeds as NFTs. That's a possibility, right? That's effectively a real world asset at that point.
Absolutely.
So,
John said, great call. I mean, just to go back to that question, I mean, for the brother, could it 100x? I personally don't think so. And the part where I'm watching kind of real world assets is normally for TradeFi and obviously DeFi coming together. So things like Ondo,
I mean,
Video Network.
looking at that chart,
Mhm.
I'd say maybe 2 or 3x looking at that, give or take, given if you look at the last really big peak on the left and then look at the peak on the right,
Yeah, the price,
it didn't quite meet the last one, right, where it got the wave up. If you look at the other side, it never got that high, right? So that for me is always well, if it's going to do really well, normally when they peak like that, you see another all-time high. So
yeah, I think sometimes we confuse the market cap quite a lot, especially for the multi-cycle cryptocurrencies, because you look at the last peak, the market.
I mean, that's
cap
still an impressive market cap for what they're trying to do, right? Because that's real estate, effectively, RWA real estate, right? That's what Landshare is, I believe, right? Five is that 5 or 8 million? Was it market cap?
8 million market cap, and the last all-time high was 11 million. So it's probably gone.
So they're not that far away from their all-time market cap.
Yeah, I mean, they've recently went up.
We probably, we're probably looking at easy 2-3x personally, right? RWA, they're a bit like full utility tokens, right? We'd never see utility tokens go absolutely soaring either, right? They're a very different beast when it comes to trading. And I think RWA might be very similar. We might see the odd, if you get in nice and early, seeing 100x. But have we seen 100x off any RWA token?
Some of them, I mean, look, 50x,
really
I've seen
when you get in.
25. I mean, this particular token, from a financial standpoint, from a market standpoint, is tiny. So yes, it can do a lot of X's. Having said that, I think there are better projects objectively out there. And the question is, can it 100x from 8 million? Possibly, but there has to be a lot of bullish. There has to be utility.
You'd have to have something massive happen with it. Big company starts using it. Some sort of big, huge partnership arrangement. I would say that it would need a catalyst to trigger.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, Cliff, they've got the same properties as they did back in the bear market, because I was tracking this a while. So to answer the question, I'd say possibly anything can 100x, but I think this one is, of course.
I just noticed there's a fantastic question in the chat, by the way, from Joseph.
Let's go.
There you go. So what's the main goal for Dinex? If it doesn't reach the goal intended for this bull run, what do you think would be the reason it wasn't reached? It's a fair question, right? And a really good question, because realistically, we want to put ourselves we want to make sure that our market cap is solid, right? So, our first target was to 50 million. We've plenty broke that enough times, I would say, and we're in that realm where we're very stable around 50 million market cap. The next goal is obviously 100 million solid market cap, right? We're doing this very, very methodically. We don't want to go and say, we want a 500 million market cap and put a lot of pressure on our shoulders straight away, when we know that it's going to take time to build up our market cap. As long as we're continuing to slowly build, though, it won't be for us the reason why it failed, right? It wouldn't be our dev team or what we're building. However, we did see Dinex go on a tear right in the middle of the bear market. It could be that Dinex, Casper, and Octaspace, the three that basically launched during a bear market, might actually have their own different cycle now. We don't know. We'll soon find out. Although recently we've been tracking very close to Bitcoin, which is different because we don't normally. So that's an interesting new, appearance in what we're seeing. But realistically, if we don't reach an all-time high in the next bull run, I'll be very surprised, right? Our all-time high is what, 135, I believe it was, all-time high. I think it was 135. And we've come close to breaking that even recently, right? I think it was January or February, we came very close to breaking it again. So we're already seeing those waves of peaks, right? Of where we get very close to our all-time high. So, I mean, for me, I'm just working and working and working.
What do you think of a partnership with AI tech?
I mean, I'm open to having conversations with any of the DeepIn products, right? Like, if there's something we can do together and it actually makes sense, I'm all for it. But we don't want to just announce partnerships for the sake of announcing partnerships. Absolutely. I think that's the wrong way of doing it, especially in DeepIn areas, right? We see that with a lot of DeepIn products. They'll just announce partnership after partnership, but how many of those partnerships actually do anything apart from announce their partners?
Well, absolutely. Well, in the bear market, you tend to work on fundamentals, and I think this leg of the bull market, a lot of the companies understood from the last cycles that many of the partnerships are meaningless, but there's just great marketing ploys that they come up with. But I guess the question is probably coming from the fact that they are building a massive GPU center in Romania. The data center is meant to give Europe some kind of self-sufficiency. I mean, look, do I believe 100% this is designed for Europe to rely on this? No. But from a marketing perspective, what I do like about these guys is they are just relentless. Absolutely relentless on Twitter every single day.
We've certainly increased our social media presence over the last few months. Even you've noticed it. You said the other day, right? The social media is really sort of rolling now every day. And that for us is something that, we realized that we weren't pushing our socials nearly as hard. So we did something about it. And therefore, now you can see we've started really pushing out the socials. And even you can see that obviously Dinex reposted mine from Miami, right? And, I've been posting up a storm while I've been in Miami. You can see that, there's the pinned comment from Dubai, where I was out there with Mr. Sumi. He's a tall guy. He's a bloody tall guy. Then obviously I was showing off some bits that Octaspace are doing really well with. That's rendered on Octaspace. That is amazing.
This is clear.
Yeah.
This is
rendered in 4K. Like we've seen films that look good, right? When they've done like proper basically like the easiest one to give you an example of is like Final Fantasy when they did that into a movie, right? That's how good that thing looks. It looks good movie.
This reminds me of the first time back in early 2005, 6, about 2007, the first time I actually ever saw a Blu-ray.
Yep.
Of course, it's way different.
So noticeable, but it was so noticeably different, right? From like just HD video, like so crisp around the edges. There was no motion blur and all of that kind of stuff. This is fantastic by Octa, right? I love those guys over there. They're doing fantastic things. And like I say, wait until we can do some hardcore computation and then render that out on Octa. It's going to be fantastic to show off. It really is,
man.
And then obviously, here's some of the photos from our meal that we hosted. That, like I said, man, that was only missing one person that we should have had a minor disrupt. You should have flown it, man.
I actually would have bought my chicken burger there. Dixie's
Oh
chicken
no,
or something.
no. That place served steaks and steaks only. So yeah, not for vegetarians. Put it that way. Not for vegetarians, that's for sure. And that's great. A good mining. I had such a great talk with that guy. Yeah, I got a chance to sit down with like literally most of the YouTubers that were at the event, and they all came to the Dinex private meal.
So guys, if you're not following the Yeti on Twitter, please do, because again, you can see your favorite projects following this guy.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised how many projects actually follow me, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's
no,
always
it's surprising.
It's always quite a pleasant surprise when I look through and I'm like, wow, these are some big projects that are following me.
What do you think of this partnership, bro? It's a great partnership right there. Let me see if I can pull out more gems for you. And Belton wants to know, of course, one of our favorites.
Oh, and Belter always puts me on the spot with that question. Do you know what? I would love nothing more than to see Dinex do 100x. I really would love it, because
let's see what that looks like.
I mean,
$54.
I mean, that's a big ask for our very first bull cycle, right? Like, normally you don't normally see an increase that big on the first cycle. Maybe 50 to 75x on the first cycle, but that would still be an awesome achievement if we could do 100x. Hey,
well, look,
DXB, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal.
All right, let's do it.
If Dinex 100x is in the next bull run, right, I'll personally fly you over to the UK myself. I'll do it. I'll personally fly you over.
Well, guys, you're hearing that, but let me adjust the market cap here before that, because the market cap on the calculation was around 70. So it was 75 million or something. A few months ago, I updated this. So we would be a valuation of $2 billion from the current market cap. If we're at 51 million now, so the price at $21,
like $54 or something around that mark.
Well, 40x is $2 billion. I think that's.
I think 40x is very achievable in my view.
Yeah,
obviously,
this is what
I don't like talking about pricing usually, but you know, I am first and foremost. I was into Dinex before I joined officially, right? So I have a very reasonably sized holding in Dinex because I got in for the, you know, really early, and I love the tech. So to me,
I think $21 is.
I mean, $21 is not outside the realm of possibilities, man, at all.
Well, let's half that for a minute.
But even a 20x, right, from where we are now, would still be an amazing return for most people who got into Dinex.
Well, 25x is 1.2 billion. Now, here's an interesting thought. Considering how prominent you guys are, and how, of course, not a lot of projects are out there in the public domain, but investors are just expecting 100x's. And I will definitely go back to Marvin's question, because he wants to know what to buy in the RWA. I haven't forgotten about you, Marvin. The network effect in crypto is a real thing, you know, from 2016, 2020, and of course you're an OG in the space. Now, considering where we are in this current cycle, and again, you know, this is something that I believe a lot of people sometimes have underestimated, or will underestimate, how big the crypto cycle is going to be, based on the fact that we have institutional adoption.
Well, I guess this cycle's slightly different, because this is the first cycle we've ever had ETFs in the equation as well. So that's going to make it very interesting, because from, you know, from some of the ones that we've seen, we don't know whether truly Bitcoin will be the catalyst for the next bull cycle this time. Like, it could be something a little bit left field, like, you know, like a Solana, for example, triggers the next bull run. Because at the moment, it doesn't have an ETF wrapped around it, although that's coming by the looks of it. I've seen a few companies have put in Solana ETFs now. So,
yeah. Well, the total crypto market cap as we are today, with everything except Bitcoin and ETH, is 600 billion.
Yep.
Now, the estimates are this cycle is anything between 7 to 15 trillion.
That's massive.
That's incredibly huge. So let's say we get maybe a 3 to 5 trillion alt cycle, which is possible if you give the rest to Bitcoin and ETH with all the ETFs. I think this is, we're talking about 40x as 2 billion for Dinex. I think that's incredibly undervalued, or just about the right valuation, whichever way you want to look at it. Because where we are in the cycle at $600 million, guys, we are incredibly early. Right now, with all the space, with Octa Space and Render and all of these different, Dinex and AI Tech, all these companies innovating on the blockchain, this is where I'm actually more bullish on altcoins. I mean, people
I would
are
say
saying
this cycle is something to be looked at, right? This will be the first cycle where there's actual, like, real world work being done on blockchains, right? And that's not just Dinex, right? There's many other projects that are now doing that. So to me, this is the one that's going to be really interesting, because it's the first time we've actually seen projects launch actual stuff that's going to be used in the real world. And I love that kind of thing, right? That's the next evolution of blockchain. We're not talking about Bitcoin at that time. We're talking about evolution of blockchain technology.
Right.
We're seeing the next evolution.
Well, this is it. And the other thing as well, when I'm talking to many of the investors, there's this, people don't actually know what past fears were. So many of the new people in crypto don't actually understand when we could have been banned overnight and bans were happening. Forget the SEC. I mean, I'm talking about pirating crypto. I'm talking about how fearful it was for many people to actually be even scared to associate any transaction on their bank. You had to go through PayPal. So where we are today, when the likes of BlackRock are buying crypto, and there's a funny stat, there's this thing that I always look at, and guys, if you have any opportunity to do this, please do so. So if you go to Arkham Intelligence, you can actually track everything nowadays. And not Arkham. And look
While you're just doing that, give me 1 second. I'll be back. I'm just going to leave the toilet.
Look what BlackRock is buying, or look what they're holding, guys. It is absolutely the largest cycle, and you can track that on chain. So look, let me go back to Marvin real quick before we can continue with Cliff. So we talked about land share. Look, I'm going to give you my answer, and my answer is very simple. These guys haven't done anything to innovate, right? I was here back in 2022, 2023, and honestly, I would see the same properties, the same thing. What you want to do with RWA is you've got to look at the projects available, right? At the end of the day, don't fall in love with the market cap. Make an average kind of overall exits on your portfolio. So what I would do is I do have a list of RWA projects that I can recommend. Where are you, RWA? Let me just find it. Got so many lists here. So these are all fantastic RWA projects you can look through, Marvin. Ondo's the leader. If you had big money to throw in, possibly. I think this is going to be a save 20x. Even Axelar is a base project providing a lot of technology to the likes of Microsoft. You've got Proppy here. If you wanted to hunt down further, you got Credify here. You got Polytrade. I mean, look at these market caps. They're hardly huge market caps. You've got Relio Network. You've got SMT. Of course, you've got Landshare here at $2. I mean, look at Relio here, 100 million market cap, a much better upside. But you just have to again, you can actually risk with land share. It could do that for you, but you've got to definitely you've got to consider more of these RWA projects. And one of the reasons I always look at the leaders in the class is because they have partnerships, right? So Ondo partners with the likes of SMT, Polytrade, and Relio. So sometimes there's that convergence. All right, welcome back, sir. We will continue our cycle talks.
You know me, I enjoy our talks, man. We sat down for how many hours the other day while I was in Miami? I think it was like 2.5 hours we were chatting.
Yeah.
So
we've got hello DXP. I think Alf, Ted, they're gonna recover after. Yes, bro. Thank you so much, Acid. Fantastic question. Look, when it comes to Alf, I like to lean on Cliff always. Again, because of that knowledge of proof of work, and they recently had their own upgrade. And Alf is one of my biggest bags in terms of proof of work or proof of useful work, as Cliff was saying. Yep. And I do love to hear like your thoughts, and hopefully, you'd come across these guys and you've already got a relationship with them. But for investors, what I would say is, when you have Casper, you have Alf, there is a real resurgence of proof of work, cryptocurrencies with Dinex, with Octa space. It's no secret that these performers,
a lot of people have been getting almost overloaded with proof of stake type stuff, right? It's just been for the last year. It's pretty much what you saw every week. Like more and more proof of stake, and then all of a sudden they would be hit with fines from the SEC, and I think people are just getting tired of the whole back and forwards around securities and stuff with proof of stake. There'll always be there people that want to do those proof of stakes, right? They like that passive income, right? I can appreciate that.
Well, this is a proof of stake cryptocurrency, Manta, a fantastic layer 2. From a technology standpoint, it's brilliant. Difficult for the retailer to understand. Yep. They have two different, they've got Manta Pacific, Manta Atlantic. But if you look at the price performance of this cryptocurrency, and again, there's a lot of whales. Do I think it's going to do well? Of course, there's big money behind it.
There's big money behind Alf.
But Alf is, performance-wise, they're based in Germany, from what I gather.
I think some of them are.
Some of the team are.
Yeah.
But look, Alf here right now, I do have a price target, which is very aggressive. Whether it goes there or not, I'm not really sure, guys. But I do have a price target under $1 where I would trigger some more. Now, there's no guarantee at all from a technical standpoint it will go there. But, from a technology standpoint, I think, I would love for this project. If this project does $50, you'd be from where we are today, you'd be laughing all the way.
I mean, obviously, from their proof of work side of things, obviously we've seen now the first Alephium miners, right, in ASIC format, which has obviously caused a lot of sell pressure, right? Because people had to spend quite a lot of money for those units, and therefore they're selling every day as they're mining.
Right.
It's something that we see every day, right? With Dinex, there's the downside of a mineable chain, but I also prefer mining a coin as opposed to buying the coin. Personally, I'm a miner at heart, right? I'm a crypto miner. Of course, I want to mine it. I don't want to, I've spent out thousands of dollars on mining equipment. Why wouldn't I mine it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
There's a great question also, by the way, in the chat from Joseph.
Let's go to
he put, Cliff, if you had to meet some of the crypto's biggest distractors in the US in August, what would you tell them specifically about Dinex that will make them understand about crypto?
There we go.
Love that question. I absolutely love that question. So, okay, I'm going to get leaky again, right? Going to get leaky again. So, in August, there is actually a reason. Not only am I going on holiday, but there is also another reason why I'm heading to the US in August. So we have another interview with Bloomberg and that'll be at the NASDAQ. So the idea will be is that we're going to be talking to some of the biggest people in the US, because we're going to be on live TV. And this time I'm not just going there as an independent person talking about blockchain in general. I'm going there as the head of ecosystem for Dinex. It will be a very different conversation at that point, because since January, our whole breaking down what we're doing, right, is has changed a little bit. If you probably noticed it with some of my interviews recently, right? My way of describing Dinex is becoming a lot easier for people to understand as I work out how to present Dinex to the average day person on YouTube. That's also helping with the business sense, right? Because we can word it in such a way that businesses can understand, and that's a good thing, right? Like I keep saying, education is the biggest part of anything when you start getting into enterprise level customers, right? Because you turn around and go, we're using a blockchain, they look at you with a blank face, like you just spoke like gibberish to them. So of course you need to explain it in a way that they understand, so we've got a decentralized platform that is effectively multiple data centers in multiple countries. You tell that to a company, they'll understand that straight away, right? Tell them you're using a blockchain and they think you're talking magic. So it really does come down to the wording. It doesn't mean that, it's exactly the same thing, but it's just worded in such a way that a business will easily be able to understand it. So
can we go over to your let's go into, what was the link for the business side of the company?
Dinex.co.
Oh yes, Dinex.co.
So we got two sites, right? One is our crypto side, which is dinexcoin.org. And then obviously we have our Dinex.co website, which is designed purely and simply for enterprise level customers.
Right.
So there's our pricing structure for what we charge. And yes, that was $69,000 as the biggest package, which has shocked a few people because they're like, holy, that's a lot of money. But in the realm of computation, that's really cheap, like legitimately really cheap, right? We've been talking with some customers who pay over $1 million a month for their computation. So when we turned around and said it's $69,000 a month, they almost tore our arms off, because that's a big sizable drop in their costs and overheads.
So what's the customer journey here? So they would pay, obviously they would select what they want. But it says here,
basically
gates
at the very top, right, there's a sign up button. From there, you're able to select which subscription you want, right? So basically they go, look, create account. You create your account, simple as that. And then from there, it'll ask you which your subscription model is that you want. Now, there is also a 7-day free trial, so that people can try this out for themselves. But legitimately, the way to think of it like this, right? So the 1,000 quantum gates is designed at single people, like single person business, or developers like myself, right? Because realistically, you can develop anything on 1,000 quantum gates. And then if you need more, you just scale it up afterwards, right? You do a small test run and then just scale it out afterwards. So as you can see, that scales up. So it's by a factor of 10 each time. Yeah.
Right. Wow.
So each package is 10 times bigger than the previous package.
And of course, you've got your computational run here, job duration.
Yeah. So the reason for 60 minutes is because if you badly code something, it could sit there running indefinitely. We put a lock on that until people have shown that they're able to code on our system sensibly, right? And then we can remove that lock effectively. For other customers who are already messing around with quantum, they've already had their job duration effectively rescinded. so they can run for as long as they need to.
Brilliant.
But it's just there as a backup more than anything. So,
wow.
But yeah.
So then obviously this is done in USD, or do they pay in Dinex
fiat.
coin? Oh, fiat. So the business side is completely fiat. Okay.
Correct. 100% fiat. Now, if you want to use our service and you want to pay in Dinex, you absolutely are able to do that. So you do that though via the dinexcoin.org side, because it is absolutely split right down the middle. And there's a very good reason for that, because obviously fiat on ramp and all of that is solely for enterprise customers at the moment. We know that anyone who's using like the coin itself that wants to do the compute will automatically know where to go for their computation in that side. If they just want to run it once though, then they can do it just by pay as you go.
Brilliant.
So, oh yeah. Yep. So we can send the caveman back to his house. Yep. Gonna have to work out time travel to send him back to his family.
Brilliant. Listen, we're gonna put you under the spot before we wrap things up. So give us your top 5 proof of work cryptocurrencies.
Including Dinex or not including Dinex?
Of course. Okay, let's exclude Dinex.
I'm gonna be biased if I
Okay, let's exclude Dinex.
So I mean, I hold like quite a few proof of work coins, right? I'm big into my proof of work stuff, right? So I've got on my list right now, I have Casper, I have Octaspace, I have some Alephium, I hold a bit of Tau. I got into Tau quite early, so I'm quite happy with that. Took a bit of a dive though in the last few weeks. I think that's because of the amount of VC investment in Tau. Tau's got a lot of VC money invested in it. I actually got to speak to one of the guys who runs the largest Tau subnet, funnily enough.
Oh, wow.
That was a really interesting conversation. They run some awesome stuff on that, but Tau is very much like how we are, right? They're fleshing out their service and trying to educate people on what they're actually trying to do, right? So they've had some big push and sell pressure, right? That's for sure. Like it went on an absolute tear because it was at like $700 at one point, weren't it?
Yeah,
like crazy money.
Nearly $800.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice pullback here.
Yeah, it's had a really hard pullback. But like that's also what you got to realize when institutional money becomes a play, right? Like if you've got big VC money invested in your projects, that's the consequence that can happen if they ever decide they want their money. Then they're just going to sell up and they won't care about the project in that regard, right? We've actually got a couple of VC firms that are invested in Dinex. I don't know if you've spotted that. It's actually on the Block Explorer. We tagged their wallets so that you can actually see it. In the rich list, if you go to the rich list on Dinex, you can actually see the basically the VC funds that we've got. One is Humla and the other is G20. But those two barely sell. The Humla buys and sells a little bit. They're doing more like just trading. But G20, they just
how do accumulate. I find it?
So blockexplorer.dinexcoin.org.
There we go.
And you'll see it over the right-hand side somewhere. There'll be a rich list button somewhere. You might have to scroll down a little bit to find it, but it's on the right-hand side. It says, oh, there it is. Sorry, left-hand side, network status. It says rich list. On the right-hand side, there you go. There you go. If you click that, it'll take you to the rich list. There you go. And G20 is like the second biggest holder in Dinex. And they're a VC firm. They just keep buying. They haven't sold. They just keep buying. They're great. Like they know what we're doing. They understand of what we're trying to build, right? Humla is the other one, right? They're like the fifth largest holder right now, Humla Ventures, right? They're another VC firm. But we tagged those on our rich list because we want to actually show that we do have VC companies buying into Dinex. They're just not willing to sell yet. Like, not even close. I spoke to them. Like, I know what their limits are. Like, they really want big money out of Dinex. So I would suspect that they're not going to be selling off anytime soon. But this gets updated on a weekly basis, by the way. I think, right? No, monthly, sorry. Monthly. Last updated last month.
Oh, right. Okay. So you got two large VCs, but obviously it looks like it's very long-term investment here. But I love the transparency, by the way.
Yeah, we've been, you know, so like, for example, Yeti Audits, right? My auditing firm, my wallet is tagged on the blockchain. It actually says Yeti Audits when it comes up. When I do a transfer, it's all shown up on there as Yeti Audits. The pool that I run, that wallet is all tagged on the blockchain. It's one thing that we wanted to do, right? We wanted to be very transparent in that regard. So
brilliant. Some of the comments here for the guys.
Oh yeah.
Coffee and drinks. Comments said, "Bye." Yeah, we did the.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't already joined DXB's crypto, like DXB Discord, there's some great chat in there, right? I've been very fortunate to be invited. You guys have a whale of a time in there, man. You guys have some fun.
We got legends there. You know, we've got the likes of Cliff. If you want to catch this amazing guy.
Well, I think if I remember rightly, wasn't I dropping like pictures of Miami mining disrupt pictures into your Discord to show everyone what we're up to?
Well, the funny thing is, you know, people don't understand. You know, when you form real friendships in crypto, again, I'd like to go back to this rich list because you have so many shady characters in crypto. You know, Cliff is here telling you guys we've got two VCs that never sell, and you can check them on the block explorer, and we tag them.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the more transparent you are, the more people will run to those VC coins and those proof of work coins. And sadly, we have to buy them sometimes because of the.
I mean, the thing is, G20 are a really good company. Like, they really actually care about what we're building. They like what we're building. They were the very first, I believe. No, sorry, Humla was first. G20 came along after, but they were very adamant that they wanted to get into buying up Dinex, and they don't buy it from us OTC. They buy it on the open market. That's the biggest one, right? Like they buy that on the open market. That says a lot to me, right? That they don't just have a special deal with Dinex direct to have like OTC type deals. They basically buy on the open market. You can click their wallet, and you'll probably, if you click that wallet address, right, that's for G20, right? Here you go. Let it open up, right? You can see Gate.io, Gate.io, Gate.io. They're buying on the open market. Like, it's not even like a custom deal for them. They're not getting any discount. They're buying it at actual market rate,
which is fantastic.
You can see, look, then no selling, just all buying.
Dude, this is look at that.
See my point? Like,
1,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, crazy levels of buying. But that's the best thing that I love to see, is that they're actually buying on the open exchange. That is so cool to see, right? Because how many VC firms, right, go ahead and have special deals with the network to get them cheaper than the market rate, right? Some VCs get it as low as like 50% discount on market rate.
Incredible.
Like, that's how they make their money, right? That's how you make your money. You get a VC deal like that where you put in a lot of money and suddenly you get it for half the price. If it then does a 50x, that's more like 100x to you, because you got it at 50% off the market rate. So everyone gets a 50x, the VC gets 100x. It's not a bad turnaround, really.
Not at all. I mean, 18 transactions.
Yeah.
You know, 3 million.
That's what I mean, right?
All on Gate.io.
Total cent. Look at the total sent. Zero.
That's brilliant. Thoughts on Argo or Agro? Sorry, let me just check this for.
No, go for it. I struggle to keep up with all the new projects, man. There's so many popping up every week.
Yeah, I mean, Agro coin, Argo. I know Argo, but I've never heard of Agro. Price not tracked here. Maybe we can go to.
Must be new.
Yeah, let's go to CoinGecko. I think Gecko just track everything these days, or most things. What's up, Cordell? I hope you're doing well, man. Agro. I don't know, man. It's giving me aggro. Is this it? Aggro? I've never heard of it, first of all, so that's what I think of it, bro. And what is this? BNB. I'm not too hot on BNB chain unless it's a big announced project. MEXC. I've got no idea what this is, brother.
I mean, the first little bit of that price action doesn't look good.
Not at all.
You can
the
see
website
where it just peaked really high and then just flatlined, which is never a good sign usually, in my view, from where I've seen it in the past.
Yeah, this looks like a website from the ages. Yeah, stay away from this, brother. This is.
If you go back to the price action page, right, and you have a look at that price action, that see that big fall from grace at the beginning is either they misjudged what their opening price should have been, right? They overcooked their initial price action, or they had a load of early investors pre-buys that just went and dumped. You see that with a lot of BNB chains and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Cordell, mate. I thought it was AGC. April Fools on the block halving. Yeah, let's have a look. Look, I do like this, but recently, and I'm saying this with the greatest of first of all, let's see if they've got exchanges. So Bitmart, much better than how it was before.
Okay, so they're an EVM chain then, right? They're on Polygon or something, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Decent project.
Yep.
But to be honest with you, yeah, I'm still holding a small bag, Cordell. So I think
so the really cool thing is, right, and this is what I'm working on right now. Once the new Yeti UK site is live, there will be an availability for anyone to run contract scanning by themselves. All you will have to do is supply the URL to the contract, and you'll be able to do any of those checks yourself to see if those contracts are safe to use. Because obviously you should never connect a wallet to a contract without knowing whether or not there's hidden restrictions or permissions that are left over, right? So I don't know if most people know this, but on a smart contract, I can specify that I can have access to your wallet at any time. Doesn't have to be there and then. I could do it 3 months down the road and just trigger it and empty everyone who's still left it in their access, right? That's why we're building out that service. Truthfully, there's going to be a special, and I haven't even told you this yet, but everyone that I appear on the YouTubes and stuff like that, all of the YouTubers and influencers will have a special key that will allow them to do some scans themselves. So you'll be able to do some scans. You'll be able to do some scans for your community. Obviously, that brings about more transparency in the ecosystem, and it's also something that you can offer for the Patreon and the Discord users, right? Something that
will be
that gives
incredible.
back to them.
Give me the site again, brother. The new
Yeti.uk, y3ti.uk.
No code
so this
anymore.
is the current site, but if you put beta.yeti.uk, you'll see the brand new Yeti site that's working on.
Oh,
So this
brilliant.
is a very different type. So if you go into, if you go under the, if you go on the about page, you'll see the 4 staff members.
So
3
this
of
is
those
where
work for Dinex, by the way, just to let you know. Me, Sam, and Dan all work for Dinex as well. So, I mean,
so this is where we're going to catch all of those scam projects, basically.
yeah. So if you go to audits, right, we haven't finished fleshing out the prices yet. They're for like high-end scans. So if you click Dinex, for example, as one of the audits, you'll actually see how the audits are going to load up and look. Well, when it loads. Oh, it's still bugged out. Oh, that's a shame. I was going to show you. It must be the domain lookup again. We've still got some bugs to iron out with this, unfortunately.
This is still beta anyway, but
it's one of the reasons why, you know, we're still doing what we're doing. We're building out. I mean, you can try some of the others, actually. Try Lethium.
Well, this is brilliant because I just wanted to show everybody how
see how many we've done.
Yeah, if you can have an independent contract audit and a code audit, you're able to actually navigate the space. Whilst I load this up, thoughts on Cubic, because Cubic is like
Cubic. I was wondering when somebody would bring that one up. Cubic is so Cubic is trying to do some stuff very similar to us, right? They're trying to really push what computation can be done in that sort of environment, right? For us, it's, why is this not working then? Let's have a quick look.
Let's have a look. Let me just bring up the.
Okay, it's not loading at all.
In fact, I've just landed on a Cubic audit.
Yeah.
Would you believe?
Yeah. Yeah, we did a Cubic audit. Actually, the existing site should work just fine. If you should be able to click through to that. So if you click the logo, it'll actually load up the audit. And this is just what we're doing right now, right? But our new version, right? And this is where it gets really cool. Our new version goes 10 times more aggressive than this, right? So I'm talking about it's going to break down every file that it scans. It's going to give you that kind of data, right? But it's also going to give you out all of what the auditor sees, like legitimately. So you're going to have a complete tracked log at that point, 100% transparent about exactly what the scanner's doing, right? We're not gonna hide any information, good or bad. And right. we've always said, right, that any person or any entity that we've scanned who would like to have it rescanned because they've gone and fixed it, we will happily do that. We actually did that with which one was it? Coulson.
Oh, okay.
I put out the very first audit 20 minutes after they went main chain, right? And I found a very small problem that one of their programs could be abused if not looked at right. You'll see it on the right-hand side, Gen key pair, right? Basically, that could lead to somebody abusing it, wrapping it up on a different website using the same code and just utilizing a keylogger. So we went to the dev. Dev was really open. He went, "Thank you very much. I'll fix that now." And, you know, the next time we audit that will be clear now. I checked it recently. It looks good. So, you know, there's all these kinds of things that we work on. You know, when we went and did Fulminir is the one that's the really bad one. So if you go back into the software ones, right, and look up Fulminir, right, it failed spectacularly. It's at the bottom too. Fulminir. Right, so this thing was awful, right? This had an embedded Trojan in it that would empty every wallet on your PC, right? This thing was dangerous, right? And it was actually another blockchain that reached out to us. Look who requested it. Look, seriously, look who requested it.
Neural AI.
Yeah.
New
Neurai
AI.
actually reached out to us to ask
Wow.
us to do Fulminir because they had nearly like 50 people drained of all of their Neurai tokens. And don't get me wrong, Neurai team went to town, right? They reimbursed most of the people who lost their tokens. So kudos to them for doing that, right? But Fulminir was awful, right? And this is why these kind of services should be readily available to people. Because quite honestly, there isn't enough of them out there, or certainly none that do it for free. And that's what we're going to do, right? We are going to have a paid for service, right? Which is more for if blockchains want to contract us out for actual doing it on a regular basis. Happy to do so, right? But we are always going to allow a free scan to be run. That's never going to change.
There's some characters in here, by the way.
The rug list? Oh yeah, yeah. You trust me; those get updated when they happen. But yeah, if you're on that list, you're in a bad place straight away. Yeah, I've seen some horrible rugs over the years, like Safe Moon, for example. Right? Did you ever see that one? Like, dude, that was bad, really bad. So, Dinex versus Cubic. Oof. I'd love to have a conversation with the guys over at Cubic. I really would. Oh, well, I see there's also somebody saying thoughts on Kai or Key Network better than Casper when it comes out. I've seen a lot of people say they're going to be faster than Casper, right? But bear in mind that Casper is already like one step ahead of the curve, right? And their devs are planning on trying to make sure that they are always one step ahead of the curve. So if there's anyone gunning for their speed and their block DAG style announcement, right, of doing full DAG night where they're up to 100 blocks a second, right? It's gonna be interesting to see if anyone can catch them at that point. When they're up 100 blocks a second, that's Visa and MasterCard level of transactions a second. You know that, right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. They could rival Visa and MasterCard for how fast they could transact.
Well, this one is interesting because the only issue here is the launch valuation. Because obviously Casper is completely fair launched, and I think as a network, we've been doing the airdrop on this in the community, and then the wallets. Actually, it's a good one to do an audit on because their wallet, they use a wallet called Koala. I think they
we can add it to the list. I don't mind doing it.
Oh, definitely. These guys are. I mean, look, as a project, I absolutely love and I'm excited about what they could do.
Oh yeah,
website looks incredible.
I'm very, very keen to see where they take it down the road. I'm a big supporter of Casper. Like, if you're gonna have one that can really go at trying to build out that trilemma problem and actually try and nail it. Like, we all know Ethereum can't do the trilemma problem, right? Even Vitalik has said. He even referenced DAG Night effectively in the Ethereum white paper, right? That's how that's why Casper pretty much exists, because that DAG Night piece is going to be amazing when they finish it fully.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, Casper, look, Casper is going to make us. I mean, it's the only thing that's holding up the portfolio right now for most people.
I mean, that big announcement in Miami was what really sent a rocket behind it. Like when that big Bitcoin mining company who's owned by BlackRock basically turned around and said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we've been mining Casper." And then you look at their wallet that they announced so that they could show that they've been mining Casper. They've been mining it since 2023.
Wow.
Like more than 6 months they've been mining it. That's the shock.
That was an incredible shock. And I think the more the more this project goes up, I think more miners will see this, and for the likes of
Yeah,
Dinex and all of these other proof of work cryptocurrencies. I think if something like this, I mean, I did a piece today about marathon miners just flood into Casper,
yeah.
but like you said, they've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, it looks
Uh,
like they've like literally they've been doing it since 2023. That's big, right? For any network, like legitimately any network, that's big, right? Especially when you get like a mining company like that that's using, look at how much energy look at on that website what they're using, 1,100 megawatts. That is
for power,
massive
yeah,
energy, like
ridiculous.
huge.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's fantastic for Casper. It really is, right? That's almost like Dynex getting an enterprise level customer, right? In that regard, isn't it? Because they've
Yeah.
got an enterprise level miner just joined. That's fantastic for Casper. That's exactly what they need. They need those big networks mining their product, right? Their project at that point, right?
Well, yeah. Hopefully they'll
Great
now
news.
they've got the meme casino, Casper with hat and all types of stuff
Yeah.
coming up.
I
And
mean, don't forget
so,
their KS their tokens are not technically smart contracts. They use something very different. Actually, it's a bit more like an ordinal at that point, right?
yeah.
What Bitcoin has, but
Well,
with their own twist, effectively that brings it more along the lines of a smart contract.
so have you
But
heard of a project?
I'm keen on seeing where their tokens actually pan out now, right? Because we've seen Solana have great rewards from doing sub tokens, right?
Mhm.
We've seen Ethereum have great success on the crypto side from having a ton of
Meme
other
coins, yeah.
coins running on their network, right? Um, it'll be
I
really
honestly
interesting to
believe,
see who goes for Casper's network to run on.
I think it's going to be, look, there's crazy predictions out there. I mean, honestly, people are out of control, not
Oh, you
really
got to remember,
responsible for,
how long was
yeah.
it before Bitcoin got its first big rally? Like
Oh,
five,
years.
6 years,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Well, I
So
reckon $5 top, $3. I'd be happy with two to
I,
three
I would
dollars.
love to see I would love to see them get to like right now. My first goal with Casper is to see them hit $1 and stay there, right? As
Yeah,
in like they never go below the dollar mark ever again. That would be amazing for Casper, right? To hold that value minimum of $1, right? 'Cause that would be an ultimate achievement for them, right?
make a lot of people rich.
That would be massive for them. Then from there you can just keep building on, right? I think that's the best way to describe it. That what Casper's trying to do is build that really hard wall of it's never going to go below this. We don't want it to go below this. We want to keep driving it forward. So
Right. Yes. Somebody's asking us about Audit. I don't know if you've heard of them, but we literally did a buy alert on this in the private community.
okay.
It's a bit like yourselves in the sense that it's a real business functioning in the real world,
Oh, it's
with real
decentralized
revenue.
storage,
Well, they do.
or is
It's a
it
great
deepin?
mention.
Oh, it's
So
deepin.
cloud, yeah. So it's a proper deepin
Yeah,
project, viable business as well with decent partnerships. So yeah, I do like it, and I do
nice.
hold it for the guy who's asking us that question. Joey said $400 Tectum. I wouldn't bet against it. I mean, tokenomics are great. If you look at, for example, a bit like Dynex, really, it's all kind of out there. Majority of the tokens are out. Once you have less inflation, what's killing crypto is that VC sell pressure that we saw with Manta. And it's eventually, essentially we saw that with Tectum as well. Early VCs and big wallets just dumping it at any price level. So I think $400 is not out of the realms of possibility, but they have to sell this soft note um, idea as a kind of a layer two, and they're attempting that. I don't know if anyone's heard their Q&A, but yeah, Q&A was pretty good. So we'll get through a few of these, and then we will just kind of
No,
uh,
I love
Casper
to see more.
$40.
To be quite honest, I actually love to see more deep in projects. Like, it's a really big market, right?
Mhm.
There's so much compute required in the world right now that if every deep in platform was actually up and running,
Mhm.
we would all be busy and it still wouldn't be enough. Do you know that? That's how much computation is currently required by the world, like globally, right? That if every deep in product was available right
It's
now, it still wouldn't be enough
enough to suffice that.
to supply every request for compute right now. That's how big of a market it is. It's huge. It's one of the reasons why, you know, I keep saying to people when they mention how Flux and Dinex had a bit of a disagreement, right? And like I say to people that we're opposite ends of the scale, right? They're trying to do a full platform, a whole ecosystem, and all we're doing is quantum. We're not interested in doing nodes. We're not interested in doing decentralized VPS and VPNs, right? We're not. We're all about quantum. And they're all about doing something completely different. They're effectively trying to break Web3 as an industry, right? So that they can position themselves up against AWS and places like that. Whereas we're trying to break the industry to go against players like D-Wave and Google with their quantum systems, right? So there's enough room for everyone in the deep in products sector at the moment. There's loads. Like, honestly, I was so shocked when I saw that oh, sorry, it's my alarm going off. I was so shocked when I found out that statistic, that, you know, there's so much compute demand required at the moment that we could probably turn on every single GPU that's on a blockchain to doing compute, and it still wouldn't be even enough.
Still not going to be enough. Yes.
Still not even enough.
Yeah,
And
man.
that's only going to get
says,
more. You know, that's only going to get more the more years go on, right?
Well,
So,
absolutely, and I think that's why we're going to be multi-cycle. In my opinion, a lot of the people should be looking at their, you know, kind of projects now and kind of thinking what projects will they come back into the market with once
well, let
the
me
bear
ask you a
market
question
hits.
then. When you get into something, how long do you look ahead? What is it? A couple of years, or is it a 5-year plan for you normally?
So typically, I sell everything, or I try to, at every cycle.
Okay.
I rarely. This is probably the first cycle that last cycle I kind of came in. I mean, 2 cycles now. This is the 3rd cycle that I had Ethereum, kind of like snowballing from the previous cycles. But apart from that, it was like I kept it in a way because of gas fees.
Yep.
And I had a decent bag anyway, and I thought it was going to go
that's
to
what put
10.
me off Ethereum, was the gas fees.
It's incredible. But I do have this, you know, last cycle I did well, and I did badly at selling 2 cryptocurrencies, namely HBAR. So
Okay.
I had like 1 million HBAR, sold 600K, which was still a lot of money to me anyway. But I came into the bear market with 400K of those, and that was an easy hold in that. I just wanted to sell it, and finally I sold it.
Yeah.
And then it pumped of the news of BlackRock. But I didn't really care anyway because I put the money into other stuff. And I had some quant, which everybody did. I mean, quant was the flavor of the bear market, you know, world domination. But what I would advise investors is you should sell with no exception and buy back, because one of the big mistakes.
See, because I'm a miner, right? Mine's slightly different, because the way I do mine, right, is I will look at it from an investment perspective. How much have I had to put in, right? Once I've got double that, I take my stake back out,
right,
and I carry on. Then effectively, it doesn't matter when I sell, because I'm always in profit, right? So I'm all about taking a piece of the pie every now and again, right? Because I hear this like all the time from people where they're going, I'm never going to sell. Well, then you're never going to make money, right?
Yeah.
If you're in it for the money and you then turn around and go, I'm going to hodl it till till the end of the earth. Well, then you're never making money, right? Always take a bit of profit.
Advice.
Always take a piece of profit.
And that's a lesson, to be honest, that everybody's learned in this run up. So if you look at some of the projects,
See, I come from a time where there wasn't even exchanges for Bitcoin, right? You had to go and do it P2P, face to face with a person. Do you know what I mean? Like these days, everyone's got it a little easier to offload their money. That's for sure.
Well, listen to this. I wanted to ask you actually. That's funny because I remember trying to do a Bitcoin deal down in Edgware Road back in 2011, 2012.
Local
And
Bitcoins I used
local
to
Bitcoins,
basically book a guy to come and meet. Yeah, crazy.
Crazy days.
Shady stuff back then.
Give us some gaming projects. I listen. We've
Sure,
got your
my wife's into one, which is Neoxa. Okay. She does a lot of play to earn. She quite enjoys the Neoxa, ability to just play a game and earn some money. She did that right back in 2015. She was playing an online game, right, that used to pay her out in Litecoin. Every day she was earning over a Litecoin a day playing games. When I say my wife's got a better portfolio than I do, trust me, she really does. Right? My portfolio is pretty good. Hers is excellent. Like she's just as much as a crypto nerd as I am. But yeah, I think Neoxa's really trying to add to the ecosystem, right? They're showing that it can be done to play and earn on the blockchain at the same time. And now they've got their marketplace. You can actually go the other way as well and spend your Neoxa on their marketplace for in-game items. So it's a really interesting concept.
Talking of play to earn, this is one that I've been loading up on, and I'll tell you the reason. So going back to Dinex opening the bridge to Base and Ethereum. So this is a game that is downloaded, it has millions, it's got 70 million players. So I'm looking at Axie Infinity from the last cycle.
Is that just registered players or active players though?
Active players on the impressive. App Store and Google Store.
That's very impressive. Like if that's actually active players and not just registered players, that's impressive.
Well, this is incredible because this is on Base, and it's basically Clash of Clans, really, on mobile. Now, what I'm looking for,
like a very early mobile game, then effectively, that's cool.
Yeah, they've really got tons of backers. But what I did the research, one of the things I really liked here is if you can get developing nations, people from developing nations actually earning a monthly salary, just like they did with Axie Infinity, like in the Philippines or somewhere like that.
You know what's an interesting stat as well? Do you know where most of the developers are actually located these days? It's not America. It's really not America anymore. It's either they're in Dubai, right, making an obscene amount of money because of the tax relief, right? Because obviously Dubai loves having the technology inside of Dubai, and they make it very attractive for devs like me to come in, live there, and earn a very good living, right? I know a few devs that have moved to Dubai recently just because the incentives are massive for us to go there. And that builds their country up, right, as a tech hub at that point, which is why they're making it so incentivized. I love that. I love the fact that Dubai is trying to be more than just an oil country, right? They're actually trying to diversify. It's great. But you actually see India as well. India's doing the same. India's got some of the craziest tax laws going, but when it comes to developers, they're one of the lenient countries for tax in that regard, right? Because so many devs are in India, so they're making it very attractive for them to become the next generation of coders. So it's really an interesting stat. I didn't realize until I started speaking to a lot of companies over in India about Dinex, right? And one thing I kept noticing was, wow, these guys have got a lot of devs on their team, like 50 to 70 staff, like just doing development. I'm like, wow, like the money we pay for like 40 devs is like ridiculous in Europe, right?
Yeah, it's a piece of cake over there. I mean, you can do anything now with the with the
This
with these
really
devs.
shows that other countries are starting to step up and say that they actually want a piece of that pie, to be fair.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, when you, it's funny because you mentioned that play to earn, and of
Yeah.
course these people playing these games. And I was doing the research for the community on this. And they were like, "Well, why are you bullish on this?" So one thing I realized is you could actually earn up to almost $200-300 a month from a developing country on something like Clash of Clans.
And that could be
Now,
massive to like somebody in a developing country. That could be like living like a king in some
living like
countries.
an absolute king.
Yeah.
So this has over 500 million downloads and
That's
70
amazing
million
to see. That
regular
really is
players.
amazing to see from a showcasing the best use of blockchain, right? Showcasing that blockchain isn't just about money; it can be also about other things.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. And if we could, I mean, if we could be in a situation where Web3 gaming, because you know, you've actually put me onto the right course about play to earn. You know, it looks like your wife's portfolio is going to actually
Oh,
blow up.
my wife is big into her play to earn stuff. Like she's all about play to earn. She spends a lot of time on her PC, so why not make some extra money on the side by playing a game?
Well, this is the thing.
Seems very logical to me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Listen, legend, we've been on it for nearly 2 hours.
Right? Seems to be a running thing when we get going, you know, 2-hour conversations, you know, this seems to be the running thing, but I don't mind, man. I enjoy coming on here and having a chat,
man,
and supporting one of my fellow Brits, you know, like, come on, man. There's not many Brits into crypto like we are, right? And an Arsenal fan too. So of course I've got to support my Arsenal fans.
We've got Man City fans in here. You know, we've got
like I say though, for us, right, in the crypto space, more predominantly, you know, an American industry, right, for YouTube and doing crypto YouTube and stuff like that. So I like to support the Brits, and you know, me and you have had some like really fascinating chats, and the community comes up with some amazing questions, right? That's something else that I do really, really enjoy. And, you know, I sit in your Discord regularly and chat away to a lot of the users over there, right? They're very available to ask me questions, you know, in a very more, well, I say less formal way, shall we say, right? It's a very relaxed environment in your Discord. They get to ask the questions and not feel like they're, you know, being pointed out and everything like that. So I mean, I find it fantastic. And obviously, you know, only a few Brits but only one caveman. I love that. I clocked it just as you was put it on the screen as well. Fantastic. I'll give you that one, caveman. That was good.
Well, listen, you know, tell the powers,
my friend.
Powers that be. Yeah, he's a legend, man. I mean, you know, he is incredible. He should be joining us. I mean, you know, let's fix a date. He's got some
absolutely
incredible.
Like I said, right. I'm happy to do some private AMAs on you know, your Discord, make it very, you know, very relaxed, have a good chat around, you know, the people in there can ask me very, you know, different questions if they want to. They can get really in the weeds about it. You know, maybe I'll drop some full on like, as you call it, an alpha, you know, drop some big old news in there for you guys to see. But yeah, I love having these chats, man. You know me. Me and you chatted the other day while I was in Miami. I'm working and I'm still chatting to you. You know, I was in the airport and I connected to have a chat with you. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, no. Listen, you've been brilliant, and I think the fascinating thing as well. Yeah.
Obviously, now I got you in touch with Octaspace, and you're looking forward to that one. I know.
Tuesday. I mean, everybody here should be with us. Prepare your questions.
If I'm not on the stream, like, I'll be in the chat 100% for that conversation, right? Because any chance to have a little old poke at Tariq's always good fun. You know, we have a good laugh and a joke. You know, because you know he's like dual nationality, right? He's also a Brit, but he lives over in Europe, so he's like dual nationality. So
Well, there's only
He's
one
a funny
caveman,
guy.
so
He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. Like, honestly, that comment is great though. I'll give you
yeah,
that.
it's
Give you
a
that. There's only one
beautiful
caveman.
way to end it. But listen, just to summarize for everyone, Octa Space with us Tuesday. That would
Yep.
be 9 p.m. Dubai time. I think that is 6 p.m. UK time.
Yep.
And it's probably around midday Eastern time, United States,
Yeah.
East Coast.
So we should be good for all of the time zones, and even China, right? China will be probably early in the morning the following day. So we should be timing that pretty good
We should be rocking
for anything.
Thank you so much, brother. God bless you. You have been incredible. And
and we got some more surprises in store for you. I've got let's just say that let's just put it this way, right? These are all the business cards I was given while I was in Miami, right? There's a few in there. I can't say much. Look, I'm giving it away now. Look, I'm just. But needless to say, there's a couple of other interviews that I'll hook you up with. I think you'll have fun with those conversations as well. By the way,
looking forward to
it. I promised you, didn't I, that I said, like, if I can help make some introductions, I'm all for it.
You're a legend, man. And listen, look, we really appreciate you. Look, all round, and I think everybody here, smash the like for my bro, Caveman. Please stay safe. Get into the shelter, brother. Get into the cave. And guys, listen, thank you so much for everybody. Don't forget Down Under.
No, I think you should be good in Australia. Like, you should be. I mean, it would probably be early morning, but it should be fairly accessible. If not, I'm sure that DXB will probably release it as soon as possible as a full video. So I mean, I think it's only like 20 minutes after the stream ends that it's pretty much available, right? I'm pretty sure.
Otherwise, my brother will do Steve Irwin on me. You're right, mate. You're right. You're right. We got a big cracker here.
But no, I love coming on and having some fun with your community, right? It's very laid back, your community, and very, very fun to be in. So thank you for the invite, by the way.
Thank you so much. Brilliant stream, man. Thank you so much, man. Peace, fellas. Thanks, Cliff.
No,
great to have you, my friend.
Anytime.
Regards to the why.
These New Zealand never get rugged. Hold on. Weren't they both under British rule? I mean,
we don't know.
I mean, technically, everyone in Aussie is just a descendant of a prisoner that we sent over there, right? So I mean,
yeah, it was. Well, listen, Captain Cook will disagree, but Richard said, unfortunately, yes. Great banter, brother. Listen, I'll see you on Tuesday night.
Yep.
And I'll see everybody else on Tuesday night and see you in the Discord, man.
Yep, absolutely.
Take care, guys. Good night. God bless. Good night. Take care, bro. Ciao. Up the Arsenal.